All right, so get this. We're diving into the blue ocean strategy, but for coders this time. And no, before you start picturing like lines of code floating in the ocean,
Right. Uh-huh.
it's not that literal, no.
Yeah, more about how you think about your career.
Exactly. Instead of battling it out with everyone else, like imagine a feeding frenzy, sharks everywhere, total chaos. That's the red ocean, right? But what if you could just swim to a different spot? Calmer waters, tons of opportunities. That's the blue ocean we're talking about,
Hmm.
where your skills, they really make a splash. And this is especially relevant for you, what with your interest in mentioned listeners' field reason for deep dive, tie it to the themes subtly. I mean, standing out is key there, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, yeah. That's the essence of blue ocean thinking, carving your own niche in tech instead of, well, getting lost in the crowd.
And to help us wrap our heads around it, we're taking a deep dive into this article about AlgoCademy.
AlgoCademy, right, yeah.
Uh,
Have you had a chance to check them out before?
I have, actually. They're that online platform teaching coding and all. But what's really cool is their whole approach, really getting the why behind the code, not just memorizing it, you know?
Huge difference there, for sure. See, a lot of coders, they get stuck in that red ocean we talked about, just memorizing syntax and solutions. Works for a bit, but eventually you hit a wall when something new pops up.
Like trying to speak Italian just by memorizing phrases from a travel book. You might order a coffee, but you're not exactly fluent, right?
Exactly. Algo Academy emphasizes understanding those underlying principles, the why. So not just how you write a for loop, but why it actually works.
That makes a lot of sense. Could you give us an example of what that looks like? Maybe something related to mention listeners' field reason for deep dive. Tie it to the theme subtly.
Sure. Let's say you're working with, mention a specific coding concept relevant to the listener's field. Now, instead of just copy-pasting some code snippet, hoping it works, Algo Academy, they'd want you to understand the whole algorithm behind it, how it processes the data, why it's the best choice, all that.
So you're not just like mindlessly typing, you're a composer, understanding the music behind the code.
Exactly. And that deeper understanding, that's what lets you adapt to new languages, frameworks, all of that. It's about becoming a better problem solver, which is, well, crucial for the blue ocean, right?
Makes sense. Being adaptable, standing out because you can handle whatever's thrown at you.
Precisely. And that actually ties into the next thing they talked about in the article, the whole problem-solving aspect of coding.
Problem solving, yeah. Sounds pretty important, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it's essential, no question. The article really hammers home how Algo Academy, they put this emphasis on breaking down complex problems. It's not just, spitting out syntax. It's about using what you know to solve actual problems, real-world stuff. And that's what makes you stand out, right? That's blue ocean thinking in action.
So instead of panicking when you see a coding challenge, you can, like, take a deep breath, break it down into smaller pieces.
Exactly. Analyze it from different angles, try different things, really think like a developer. That analytical mindset, that's what we're talking about. It's essential, especially for the blue ocean.
It's almost like how a detective works, right? Gathering clues, putting it all together, using logic to find the answer. Except here, the answer is this, like, perfectly written code.
I like that analogy. And speaking of well-written code, the article, it goes beyond just problem solving. They talk about writing clean, efficient code. And not just code that runs, but code that's adaptable, readable, reusable, all those things that make it a joy to work with.
So it's like instead of just building a house with whatever's lying around, you're using a blueprint, quality materials, the whole nine yards.
Right. And that ties right back to the blue ocean, right? When your code is well organized, easy to understand, you're not just making your life easier, but you're creating something others can use, build on. You open up new possibilities.
It's about making something valuable, something that stands out right. Now, AlgoCademy, it sounds fantastic, but how do they actually help people get to that level, to become like coding rock stars?
Well, one thing I found interesting was their approach to skill development. They use this phrase, gradual skill development.
Like leveling up in a video game. Start with the basics, then face tougher challenges as you go.
Exactly. Start with the fundamentals, then slowly increase the complexity. They give you the tools, the support to move at your own pace.
No diving into the deep end before you can swim, right? Sounds like a good way to build confidence along with your skills. And that's got to be important when you're trying to find your own blue ocean, dealing with all that uncertainty.
For sure. And it's not all about solo learning either. Algo Academy, they really push the importance of mentorship and community. having that support system.
Mentorship, yeah. In coding, having someone experienced to guide you, answer questions, that's huge.
It is. In the article, it talks about how AlgoCademy actually pairs learners with, like, seasoned coders, people who've been there, done
Yeah.
that.
Like having a guide through the jungle leading you to the good stuff.
Exactly. They really emphasize that personalized support, that guidance.
I love that. And what about community? How does that fit into what they're doing?
Oh, they've got this whole vibrant online community. Learners connect, share their work, ask for help, all of that. It's a place to collaborate, get feedback, build relationships with other coders, which, let's face it, is super valuable in the tech world, right?
It's all about connections these days, and coding even more so, I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this whole community aspect, it actually ties back to the blue ocean idea as well. It's that understanding that you don't have to do it all yourself. There's power in collaboration, learning from each other, all of that.
It's like building your own fleet of ships to explore that blue ocean together.
Right. Strength in numbers, right?
Yeah.
And as you're sailing those open waters, there's one more important thing they mention: continuous learning.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial. Especially in tech, everything's changing so fast.
You can't just learn one thing and call it a day, right?
Definitely not. Especially if you want to stay ahead of the curve, find those new opportunities.
Exactly. The blue ocean, it's not a place to get comfortable. And that's something this article, AlgoCademy, they get that. It's about always being open to learning new things, exploring new tech, always growing.
It's like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know, right?
Exactly. And
Right.
that's a good thing. That's what keeps things interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Keeps you pushing, exploring new possibilities, and that's what the blue ocean's all about.
So we've got hands-on learning, we've got mentorship, community, this emphasis on always learning. It's like AlgoCademy's created this whole like ecosystem for coders to thrive. What stands out to you the most about their approach
Yeah.
and how it all connects to this blue ocean idea?
Yeah, so it's impressive how they've brought all these pieces together. AlgoCademy, I mean, it's more than just here's how you write code. It's about, like, thriving in that world, which is, I think, what the blue ocean is really about.
Totally. It's holistic, right? But for someone listening right now thinking, okay, this blue ocean thing sounds great, but how do I even start? What advice would you give them? Like, where do they jump in?
Well, I'd say start by figuring out what makes you you. What are you into? What skills do you have, even beyond coding, that you could bring to the table? That's where things get interesting.
It's like finding that sweet spot. What you're passionate about, what you're good at, and what people actually need. Like, say you're crazy about music, right? And a killer coder. Maybe your blue ocean is making awesome music software, something like that.
Exactly. Or maybe you're all about data visualization, really good at design. Boom, blue ocean right there, data journalism, creating those cool data experiences. Who knows?
So many options, right? It gets the creativity flowing, thinking beyond those typical job titles. It's about making your own WN path.
And remember, your blue ocean, it's not a one-time thing. It changes as you do. The more you learn, the more you grow, the more your blue ocean evolves. It's a journey.
So stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to explore new stuff. You never know what you'll find in those uncharted coding waters.
That's a good way to put it. We covered a lot of ground today, haven't we?
Yeah, we did. From the whole blue ocean strategy to what AlgoCademy is doing, it's been pretty mind-expanding, honestly.
We talked about understanding, not just memorizing.
Yeah.
The importance of problem solving, clean code,
Huh.
the whole mentorship and community aspect, always learning. It's a lot to digest.
It is. But it all ties back to carving out your own space in the tech world. It's not about following someone else's map, you know?
Exactly. You take these ideas, these principles, and you make them your own. That's the key.
You chart your own course, sail your own blue ocean, create something awesome while you're at it.
Could have said it better myself.
So, to everyone listening, think about this. What's your unique value? What will you bring to the table?
What amazing thing will you build in your blue ocean? Now that's something to think about.
We're excited to see what you come up with.